everyone, and welcome back to Spooky Book Club. Today we are doing two things. I'm going to be announcing the spooky book picks for February, which will be in a whole separate video. It should be up now if you're looking for that. I'll put a link down in the description box for you in case you want to jump right to it. I'll also put a card up here. Maybe I'll put a card up here so you can check out the February book picks. But in this video, we'll be discussing and reviewing the book pick for January, which was The Moonlight Child by, who was it by? Karen McQuestion. If you're new here to Spooky Book Club, welcome. Typically what we do in the book discussion and review is I do a quick overview of the book. I kind of go over the description a little bit. Then I go over whether or not, like, what I liked about it, what I didn't love about it, or if I think it's worth reading, and kind of try to mention like a couple of things that will hopefully, if you haven't read it yet, help you decide if it's something that you'd be interested in reading, that kind of thing. And then after I do the general review, I get into a discussion which has a bunch of spoilers. So I will let you know before the spoilers hit so you have some time to get off of here in case you haven't read the book yet. But we get into spoilers, we kind of discuss things. I discuss things that stood out to me, things I liked, moments that I don't know, maybe were scary or suspenseful. So in the comment section, you can either respond to anything I talk about or just have an open discussion about your favorite parts or your favorite characters or what you liked about the book or what you didn't like about the book, that kind of thing. So anyways, moving on to the book review, general book review. January's book of the month was, like I mentioned, it was, what was it? The Moonlight Child by Karen McQuestion. And this one kind of threw me off, I'm not gonna lie. The description was very different from what I was expecting the book to be. I'll put that out there first. So the book description basically says that a woman goes outside to watch the lunar eclipse and she sees a little girl washing dishes in the neighbor's house. But she's kind of like, wait a minute. This family doesn't have a small girl living with them or a small child. They only have a teenage boy that she knew of. And then a former foster child comes to live with her, the woman who was out looking at the lunar eclipse. And she mentions something to her. So they start investigating it together and trying to unravel this story or mystery or whatever's going on at this house. Is the girl real? Is she not real? What's happening? Is, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So in my mind, when I was reading this description, I was thinking it might be a ghost story. Like, you're out, there's a lunar eclipse, and there's a girl that you've never seen before in your neighbor's window, and then she disappears, and you don't know. Like, I thought it was gonna be a ghost story. If we're being honest, I thought it was gonna be a spooky story, and I totally misread that. And I thought the lunar eclipse might, or like the Moonlight Child thing might play more of a role in it, and I just totally misread this book, I feel like. Yeah, if you're looking for something super spooky and scary, this is not the book in my opinion, but I did like the mystery element. I like how the story unraveled. I do like that it kind of felt a little bit uneasy at times and suspenseful, so I would recommend it for that. I also really liked the characters, and I liked the relationship dynamics between the characters, and I liked all of that. So I did enjoy this book. Is it something that's groundbreaking, that's gonna stick with me forever, that's one of my favorite reads of all time? It's not one of those, but I think it's like a really good leisurely read. And I thought the story flowed pretty well. Really nice, really easy. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. But yeah, I'm just babbling now, but I just wanted to put it out there that this was probably one of the least spooky books we've read on Spooky Book Club. It was more, just more of like a suspenseful mystery. So I wanted to put that out there just in case you were looking for something really spooky and scary. I don't think this is the one. All right, so now we're gonna get into spoilers. So I'm gonna send you off if you haven't read the book yet. Definitely check it out, give it a read. I thought it was good. All right, so I'm gonna look up my notes. And then while I'm looking at my notes, you can head out of here if you haven't read the book yet. That way you don't hear any spoilers. And where's this? All right, got my notes up, so hopefully you're already gone if you don't want to hear spoilers. So let's get into the spoilers. What did you guys think of The Moonlight Child? Did you feel like the description was not at all what you were expecting in the actual book? Because I mentioned that in the review part, but I definitely felt like I thought this was going to be a ghost story. I thought the little girl was going to be a ghost, 100%. Or the moon was something to do with it. Maybe it was a werewolf child. I don't know. I don't know why my brain thinks this way, but it went a totally normal direction. Not normal, it was definitely very deranged, but it was normal in the sense of there were no werewolves and ghosts and things like that. All right, so first I'm going to start with the beginning of the book because I was very confused, and I don't know if anyone else was, by the first storyline and how at all that was going to tie into what was going on here. And maybe I was just missing something, but just reading the description, I didn't think it was going to start with this teenage girl who was rebelling basically and runs away from home and her parents are distraught. I guess I just wasn't seeing that. Like, I felt like I was reading a different book. Like, for a second I was like, did it download the wrong book? Am I in the right place kind of thing? I ended up liking that aspect of it, but in the beginning I wasn't super crazy about it. I was kind of thrown off a little bit. You can let me know in the comments if you felt the same way. So that's the first kind of thing. But then once it started getting into the other storyline, I was, especially once it got to Suzette. Wait, let's just talk about Suzette for a second before I actually think that's my first note, is that Suzette was a huge a-hole. Suzette was a whole character. Probably one of the most narcissistic characters I've read in a long time. She was a whole level of cringe, that woman was. The vitamin store, and then how she treats her kids, and how she sees herself, and treats other people around her. Suzette's perspective was just so, that it was good. Hated her so much, but I also wanted to read more about her. I was looking to Suzette for that darkness, so I kind of would get excited when her parts would come on or that dynamic would come on because it was terrible, but also it was dark and I like that kind of stuff. But anyways, I don't know how you guys felt about Suzette, but she was horrible. Horrible. Literally my first note in here is, damn, this lady is an a-hole. I just put a-hole. Didn't even put asshole. So then I was trying to make all these random connections throughout the book that were not there because I was trying to pull in that first story that just was not making sense to me. The whole Morgan and Edwin and I don't remember what the grandma's name was. So for a second I thought maybe Niki was Morgan, the runaway teen, and Mia was Niki's child or Morgan's child. So I was kind of I feel like I was on the right track, but I wasn't at all at the same time. I don't know. What did you predict that ended up happening, or what did you think it was that it wasn't at all? Because I thought Niki was Morgan and was a foster child, but even though the story didn't quite match up, I didn't know. I don't know if maybe she had lied to, I don't even remember her name now, the daughter, the lawyer daughter. I can't remember her name now, but maybe she had lied to her or something like that. And Mia was her daughter and all this stuff. And also I thought there was some connection with the Hostess cupcake. I was like, there's a crazy Hostess cupcake connection because Sharon, I feel like, mentioned giving her daughter Hostess cupcakes growing up. Or am I imagining that? I feel like that happened really early on. And then the Hostess cupcakes were in the trash at the weird hunting cabin thing that Morgan and her boyfriend were living in, and then the Hostess cupcake that was given to Mia. The Hostess cupcake just kept appearing. I was like, where is this connection going? And honestly, I feel like there were a lot of connections that weren't followed through all the way. The whole vitamin store thing with the drugs, like the whole pill thing, she kind of mentioned, oh, I'll just put it off on my husband or something. I can't remember where she was going with that, but I feel like that whole vitamin store event with the pills and the owner was like a whole thing. And then it just kind of fell flat for me, that part did, because I was like, wait, what's with the pills? And then Suzette kind of mentions it randomly, but it doesn't really don't fully see that closure or what really happened there and what those pills were or what they, I mean, maybe I just missed that part, but I didn't, that was just kind of left in the air. I don't know. I feel like there were a couple of things like that in the book that were just kind of like, I think this is supposed to be something, but it's not really something. So now I'm going to talk about some of the parts that really got me. I got reactions out of me that I really loved. And in the comments, if you want to leave your favorite parts or the parts that really got a reaction out of you, or you were kind of just like, no way, or something like that. One of the parts that really got me was when they went to go spy in the window, that they climbed the fence. I actually put the book down because I didn't want to know what happened. I was like, I don't know if I want to see this. I don't know. Like, I was kind of hiding from it because, you know, secondhand embarrassment. I had more secondhand nervousness or like, no, don't do it, you're gonna get caught, I can't watch this part, like that kind of thing. I thought for sure Suzette was gonna be waiting. Actually, I thought it was gonna be the dad, because Niki kind of said, oh, the dad's probably not home, but the dad was home. Because the dad had kind of called out the social worker situation. And so I thought, oh, he's gonna be watching and he's gonna be there, but they got over the fence. Not without Suzette seeing him, but I thought it was gonna be more of like an encounter. Like they were gonna get, like it was gonna be a confrontation when she goes up to the window. So, I mean, she did go to the neighbor's house, she did go to Sharon's house, and that was another part that I was like, oh my gosh, she bursted in and pushed her, I shoved her a little bit. That whole part was probably one of the more suspenseful parts, I think, was that whole thing unfolding. Going and looking in the window, or trying to look in the window, like climbing the fence and going and looking in the window, or trying to, and then Suzette going to the neighbor's house, which was Sharon's house. That whole part. And then what was another part that I also thought was, oh, the little girl in the door, which happened before this. And Sharon went to Suzette's house and had the balls to go up to her and ask if she had a kid living with her or had a kid in her house because of other kids in the neighborhood or grandkids, or I can't remember what she said. But I thought that part was really good, and I could not believe that Mia opened the door right when Suzette said, oh, we don't have any small children, I just have my son, and then a little girl opens the door. That whole part, I was like, oh my gosh, that happened. Like, so that was exciting. Oh, the DNA test thing. That was another thing that happened in the story that I was really excited about, or was like a part that I was like, ooh, this is happening. It was the DNA test that Jacob got and Mia took, and then her DNA that popped up. And that is when the parents, Morgan's parents, the whole first storyline that I was so confused about, finally got tied in to the story. What I will say is I really, really liked Jacob's character, but did anyone else feel like everyone was really hard on him? Like making him feel like he could go to jail and he's responsible for holding Mia. Even Niki kind of got really harsh with him in the car and was like, you know, you can get in trouble too. Or I know that Niki also was like, oh, you know, I know he has problems at home and whatever, but it's like, everyone was really hard on Jacob, almost like he could be held responsible when he's a minor, was 14, walked into this house that saw a dead body sitting. That was another thing that didn't really wrap up either, which I'll get there in a second, but saw a dead body. Then somebody holds a gun to him. He's 14 years old. They knew how Suzette was, how bad she was, and they still kind of held Jacob to this level of responsibility that no 14-year-old would probably have, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think if any 14-year-old saw a dead body and got chased around by a guy with a gun and they had a baby in their hands and their mom was like, get in the car, I don't think anyone would be like, let me just be rational really quick right now. Like, no. I think everyone was really hard on Jacob, if you want my honest opinion. From beginning to the very end, the fact that even the grandma was mad at him. Like, you're mad at, like, yeah, maybe he was 18, maybe he's an adult now, but you're mad at, like, somebody who was in a really, really bad position when they were 14 years old. Like I understand being mad at Suzette and the dad, but being mad at Jacob, who's just a kid himself, like, I guess I missed something there because I felt like everyone was really kind of mean to him. Let me know in the comments what you thought, or maybe I'm just blowing it out of proportion. I just thought that was, like, completely unnecessary the whole time, that everyone was like, you could go to jail, you should go to jail, or I'm holding a grudge against you because you should know at 14 years old what to do with this child when you just saw a dead body and somebody's chasing you with a gun. But hey, whatever. All right. I don't know. I feel like everyone was kind of emotionally abusing the guy. I felt kind of bad for him. I'm just going to put that out there. Sorry about you, Jacob. But that was another part, the whole Morgan thing. I'm assuming that's what the body in the house or the shack. I'm assuming the body in the shack was Morgan. And that was another part of this story that just fell flat. It wasn't really, like, did the grandparents know that Jacob saw the body in the shack? Or whatever that hunting shack was, or cabin or whatever? Did they know that he saw that? Do they know that that was a situation that Mia was in? And then that the dude had a gun? Like, it just wasn't really, my guess is he would be questioned about all that kind of stuff. And he'd reveal that and everyone would know the real story. It just, the ending kind of fell apart a little bit. Like, I just felt like a lot was left open or just not really explained or didn't really end up being anything, even though there's a body in a cabin. You would think it would end up being something. And I know they found the body later, but you know what I mean? I just feel like all these parts of the story were really like not important, but like trying to like scream out at something like, oh, this is an important part, or this is something that's gonna amount to something later, and it just didn't do anything. I feel like I always end up doing this. I always end up getting way too critical of a book. I'm really not trying to be. I'm just like, wait, what happened? But I actually enjoyed the book and really liked it. So then we get into the high-speed chase, which wasn't quite a high-speed chase, but chasing Suzette, and then they find out that Mia's in the trunk. Okay, another thing that didn't really connect for me. I don't remember, did Suzette see Niki? Like getting Mia out of the car? Did Suzette end up seeing who that was? Like connecting the vitamin store girl with Niki who pulled Mia out? For some reason, I'm feeling like that connection was never made. It felt like that was a really good opportunity for them to kind of clash, and it didn't really happen, unless I'm missing something. I was reading too fast at this point because I just wanted her to get Mia out of the trunk. But the whole chase, and then Suzette going into the water, and then after that it kind of just flew by and it just ended really quickly, and I feel like there was a lot left that could have been there maybe. But that's all right. It happened the way it did, and then Jacob ends up with his uncle, and then Mia goes with her grandparents, and I did really like that. If you're gonna do a happy ending, I feel like the happy ending was good. Griswold was the present that Jacob gave to Mia. It was her animal, and they were happy again. But I kind of really wanted something a little bit edgier thrown in, like a final goodbye by Suzette, the narcissist, and like her final thoughts, just ruminating in her prison cell. Like, kind of just wanted a little something dark in there like that. But I mean, it was a happy ending. It was all jolly and good. But it's okay. Overall, I actually really thought it was a good read. I thought it flowed really well. Like, I thought it was kind of just one of those easy reads that's really like sit back and enjoy the ride kind of thing. But you can tell me what you think in the comments. What parts stood out to you? What you guys thought about the part where they climbed the fence and went and looked into the window. That part, I really, like, I don't think I took one breath that entire part, because I was like, please don't, Suzette. Like, I just imagine Suzette standing there, like almost like a Cruella de Vil situation, maybe like a martini and a fur coat, and she would see that it's Niki, the girl from the vitamin store, and I just thought at that point everything was gonna fall apart, and any second, I thought any second Niki and Sharon were gonna ruin the whole thing. I thought it was a fun read and just really easy. It wasn't spooky. It wasn't, I mean, it was, you know, had those suspenseful moments, but I wasn't scared, or it wasn't a scary book, but that's okay. But yeah, let me know in the comments. You can either respond to what I talked about throughout the review, if there was something I missed, or some things that stood out to you, or your favorite characters, favorite parts, all that kind of stuff. Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, say hey ghoul hey down in the comments, because you know I love talking to you. Also, don't forget to check out the book picks for February. That video should be up now. And also don't forget to vote for which book you want to read over on the community tab. And yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.